What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to Recap That Chat. I am Ben Kolb.
My name's Tyler Tarver, and we are so excited you are here. Why are we doing this, Ben?
Yeah, so we know that every week on Twitter, amazingness happens in the hashtag AppleEDU chat, but that catching up to that sometimes takes like 10 minutes just to scrolling to find the chat, and it's like drinking from a fire hose. So we thought each week we're gonna bring you our favorite from the chat.
That's exactly correct. And this chat that we're talking about today is on promoting creativity with authentic assessments. Ooh, I like creativity. I like authenticity. Authenticity. That's the right one.
There it is. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Is a charm. Right. So,
absolutely.
The people that hosted this were phenomenal. Ben, tell us a little bit about them while I look them up straight here from notes.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, that's another cool thing. We're gonna model Apple tools as we do this. So today I am rocking Keynote using an Apple Pencil. Just love it. I think you're gonna see some really neat stuff that you cannot do in Google Slides. Tyler, which are you using?
I'm gonna go with Notes. I'm using the good old-fashioned Notes app. It's convenient, but also super powerful. Like I just looked up Liz, one of the people that hosted this, straight from it. But you know, it's whatever. Yeah. Notes is just dope, man. I'm just letting you know. It's really cool.
I love that it syncs between your iPad, your iPhone, your Mac as well. Super amazing tool as well. And I love Keynote as well. So we're talking all about how authentic assessments can really get our students to be better critical thinkers and more creative as well. So Tyler, question number one, as we look into this, was authentic assessments are powerful, we know that, but how do you define an authentic assessment? To you, how do you know something is an authentic assessment?
Well, I feel like whenever it resonates with students where they are, whenever you're doing something that they can find is relevant, but also it engages them, and not because like, oh, it's flashy, but because it means something to them. So when it's authentic and they can give authentic answers and authentic application, I think that goes a long way with students. How about you, man?
When I think authentic assessment, I think it needs to be a task that a student actually would have to do in career or beyond just like K to 12 classroom. So I think, I haven't written a 5-paragraph essay since I graduated high school. So that's a perfect example of something that is not an authentic assessment. You never have to do that in an actual job.
Yep.
I think, so having kids do blog posts, having them do videos, having them convince someone, all of those, because they're things you have to do in real work and in college and beyond. That's what I think of, a task that you need to do outside of school.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do our bosses come into our office and say, hey, you have exactly 45 minutes to complete this task. If you don't, then you're gonna fail this job and you can't call or use any resources. Happens all the time, right?
Never, which is right. Very good. So let's, so each of us then picks our favorite answer for the week, and it's a total science. Mm-hmm. Right? There's definitely no judgment in their favorites or anything like that.
No,
so Tyler,
playing faves.
Who'd you pick, man? Who did you pick for your favorite answer for question one?
I used @Miss_T_Leon. I used her because she also curated the chat, but what she said was awesome. She said, authentic assessments engage learners through creativity. They are relevant, high interest, and designed with students and not just for students. The students are a part of that, and I love that she said that.
Yeah, anytime you can have students like designing with it, that's probably a really good example of it being authentic for sure.
Owners versus renters. They own it.
Yeah, I like that for sure.
You? What do you got?
And I obviously have the correct one. I went, I skipped ahead there. Let's go back. So I went with Emily Lynch Deegan, who said that the big characteristic is that it's real, and it has to give students an opportunity to show their ability and to apply skills they've learned in real situations. So that's kind of what I was saying. Just the idea of like not just a multiple guess test. It has to be something you need in life outside of school.
That's so good. That's so good. Excellent. Okay, question two. Question two says, what are the benefits of authentic assessment? Consider the benefits from both the student and teacher perspective. So, Ben, my question to you first. Kick us off. What are the benefits of authentic assessment?
So many benefits. We're going to see that in the answers. We saw a lot of common themes come through. For me, being a classroom teacher for 7 years out in Illinois, the biggest benefit is anytime one of my former students hits me up on LinkedIn, hits me up on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and says, hey, Mr. Kolb, remember that one time you had us do this persuasive speech to the class? it reminded me a lot what I had to do today in my job. And so it's like that building of a skill that actually helps the kids succeed outside of the walls of your classroom. And without a doubt, that is the biggest benefit for me when I was a teacher. How about you, Mr. Tarver? What you thinking?
You know what? Mine is honestly, it's a very similar answer, but I want to give a different example. When I was a principal, I got the chance to teach a couple of the classes as well. And whenever it was time for them to show their learning, their evaluation, yes, they could do a quiz or a test, but I also gave them the option of creating a presentation. They could do a video, do a podcast audio. And I had a young man that really loved doing video, and he wanted to learn more about it. So he did that for all of his, built up an actual video career, and became the guy in college who filmed his school at football games. And so he actually built like a side hustle off of that. And I think doing, just like you said, both of those learnings at the same time was beneficial in two ways instead of just one. So who'd you pick out for your answer on this one?
Well, you know, I always pick the best, and I just went with like my hometown, right? Coming to you from Colorado. So in my district, one of my friends hopped in here, and Nate Wilcox said that the biggest benefit to him is that it's fresh and every day is new and never boring. I think that's another part. Like, we get super bored grading paragraph essays all the time. And so the fact is that it's always new. And since kids like it, like, classroom management's cake, because like, when was the last time a kid was making a video or a podcast or a song and you had to be like, hey, stop talking to your friend? Like, they enjoy it. So I think there's really no downside as a teacher to doing them. Who'd you pick?
Absolutely. You know what? I went hometown as well. This is Jessica Herring Watson. Jessica is phenomenal. She actually teaches in the same town as me. So holla at Jessica. Jessica, you're incredible. Jessica said, for teachers, grading is so much more fun because every product looks a little different. For students, it encourages ownership of the process and product of learning. Man, I think she's right on par with us. I think we all of us, let's just start a school together. What do you think? I think it's just the best thing. You two people from Colorado, two people from Arkansas, let's take over the world. I think we've all got it figured out.
You're a math guy. On my screen, I just love that you can annotate on top of slides as you're in presenter mode. I just did Colorado and the greater than sign, Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
I hope I spelled it right, because we're live.
Ben, we like to keep this show honest and authentic, so let's try not to lie to people. Arkansas is a natural state. What's Colorado? The artificial state? I can't even remember.
I don't know. Next question in Recap the Chat. We're looking here. How can students design authentic assessments for a global community? How can students share and showcase their work for authentic audiences? What do you think there, Tyler?
Man, Ben, I thank you for asking. I've been wanting to tell you this for years. So I love this because the internet has connected us. And not only is it a way for us to create and show people what we're doing and what we're learning and building in the classroom, but it also gives us a chance to see what they're doing. And then we can have not only empathy, but we can you're traveling to a different place essentially because you're learning with other students in other countries. And I think that's incredible. And I love that the internet connects us. And I think we can create it, in a ton of different arenas. You could do podcasts, you could do YouTube, you could do Twitter, like we're doing Twitter. We're doing a combination of Twitter and YouTube right now. It's incredible. Look at us.
It's nuts, man.
Who would have thought? Not me. How about you, Ben? What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. The power of the internet, there's the world is flat now, for sure. And I think one of the biggest things to me is that you don't have to wait as a kid anymore to matter. And just the fact that Spotify was developed by a high schooler, if we're in this arena now where it's all about your ideas and about just putting content out there, and we don't have to tell kids anymore, when you grow up you can do this. It's no, you can do something right now that gets traction and that makes a difference in the world. So that's what I think, that when students are making for a global audience, they don't have to wait to matter when they grow up.
That's incredible.
Who'd you pick?
I went with Katie Conway, Miss Conway ICS. Check her out on Twitter. She said, one way my students create for an authentic audience is when they write an argumentative essay about their favorite restaurant. We format the essay into a letter and send it to the restaurant. We often get responses and the kids love it. They are connecting with real people, real businesses, and they're showing that what they're doing isn't just in their classroom. It's connecting with an outside audience. I love that.
Yeah, man, I love that one as well.
How about you? What do you got?
Well, I picked another hometown girl here, just an hour south of me. We have Katie Manzanares, incredible educator. You got to go follow her at Miss Tech Goddess on Twitter. She had this really cool point that I liked, which is this whole idea of exhibition nights. So there are a lot of that. I think some of those schools in California, I don't remember the name right now, and this red light's recording and blinking and making me nervous. But there's those like those PBL schools and stuff like that really tout the power of an exhibition night where you are showing off to the whole community. You invite stakeholders from all over to come in and see what you're learning. So I loved that idea of having an exhibition night. And Katie, I only live an hour away, and you didn't invite me to your exhibition night, so that better happen next time for sure. Next question, Enricat the chat. What tools and skills do your students use when they're creating their authentic assessments? Tools and skills. We got a two-part question here, Tyler. Choose either of them.
Okay, I love it. I'm gonna go with, well, the skills and tools because they're combined because you need skills to use the tools. So my students love making video. So whenever I give them the opportunity to do that, that's kind of their medium that they're really into because they're already on it. They're on Snapchat, they're on Instagram. So I ask them to incorporate that in that world into their assignment. So anytime I'm like, hey, create an Instagram account of what it would look like for this person if they were living today. Or create a Snapchat, essentially connection and a news story from what you're doing. I want them to create in the world they're already in, the world they have the screen time minutes in already. I want them to create with that. So video, and then they edit in Final Cut Pro, and they make some really cool products. Some of it's not very good, but it gets better every time they do it. How about you, Ben?
Just like this show, episode 2. And this is this is the floor. We're getting better every single time.
Every time.
When I thought of this, and really this is another reason why you need to dive into giving your students authentic assessments, is that the biggest skills that all those assessments draw on are those 4 C's, or the 7 21st century skills that Tony Wagner talks about, the survival skills, that you are communicating, you're collaborating, you're critically thinking, you are working in teams. And so I think that is the biggest thing, that these all draw on the 4 C's, or those 21st century survival skills. Tyler, I'm gonna go first, just because I feel like you've been hogging it and sharing your folks first, so I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
And I had to share 2 of this gal's tweets because she just absolutely crushed it. And I think her answer for number 2 was one of my favorite ones as well. So this is Bethany Nugent, at Bethany_Nugent on Twitter. Give her a follow. The tweet that I loved and I retweeted the second I saw it was called 101 Ways for Students to Show What They Know. And it just has a list of collage, drawing, podcast, book, editorial, letter, essay, all that stuff. So all of those are great examples of a way that you can give an authentic assessment. And then she talked a lot about kind of what I said, just the idea of the skills that it builds on is a lot like Bloom's taxonomy, that it's, when you're doing an authentic assessment, it's a lot of the top part of that pyramid. Tyler, who'd you choose?
So good, so good. I went with Rachel Mickle. Is that, do you think that's correct? Did I say that right, you think? Blink twice if it's right. Excellent, thank you. Okay, she said, I'm going to go with the 4 C's here. Just like you said, they use tools. Did you steal that? You stole it from my person. That's fine, man. It's okay, it's fine. They use tools to demonstrate creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking. Anything from iWork tools to crayons and glue. My favorite's Keynote. You know what? I love Keynote too. I was actually making a presentation in Keynote today. Yeah, it happened. It's a real thing.
Get you some of that.
I actually just made a video. I say just made a video. I recently made a video on the 4 C's where I talk about it. So if you want, check that out. I don't know. Ben will just tweet Ben. He'll tell you where it is. Okay, I'm going to shoot you the next question. It says, question 5. How do teachers design authentic assessments in a way that will prepare students for future opportunities? Ooh, that's a good one. Ben, what you got, man?
Yeah, so I think this is where it's super important that as teachers we're really have friends outside of our own realm, So I know my brother's a doctor. That's a brag. I mean, you were a principal, but my brother's a doctor, so.
Oh wow,
that's probably
that hurts.
Better, right?
I mean, I'm working on being a doctor. I'm a specialist. Does that count?
No, not at all. So, I'm wearing Beats by Dr. Dre, so that's close as well.
I'm wearing Airbuds by Tim Cook, so it's whatever.
Oof, wow. Okay, so you're better than that for sure. So yeah, I think I have friends outside of school who are in advertising or in other things, and it's just being curious and asking them hey, what does an actual day look like for you? You run a nonprofit or you do development for a big organization, and just being really curious about what are the things that you do on a daily basis and need to do really well, and then trying to backwards plan your class to meet those skills. And maybe, I know that to be in charge of marketing, you have to convince a boardroom of this. How can I make my students in this next unit convince a boardroom of something? So I think it's that being curious, figuring out what other realms need to be successful, backwards planning your content to fit that. How about you, Tyler? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you do it in a way that's going to add 2 skills instead of just 1. If everything they do is just reporting or taking a test on it, all they're really doing is, learning how to do multiple choice tests or create an essay on it. But if you allow them to create, collaborate, work together, use critical thinking skills, work through problems in the process, they're adding layers of skills that they can present in any situation. So if they go out and they want to be a welder, cool, I'm gonna go out, I've got all the school I need to be a welder, but then if I go in and I say, also, I can weld and I know how to create video, I can make a commercial for you that I can put on social media and promote your business, and I can weld. You're adding a skill set that's valuable in almost any arena, but also adding that to what you want to do and what you're passionate about. Okay, so you go ahead, Ben, who did you pick out? What answer do you got for this from the Twitter?
Yes, at Langston EdTech, Chuck Langston. Big follow, definitely give him a follow on Twitter, he's amazing. But here he said, this is where as teachers we need to focus on research, what opportunities will be available for our students, and how does doing well on a multiple choice test reflect that reality. So the world's changing faster than any time in human history. It's exponential change. We know that, like, we just in Colorado had a Budweiser truck go from Fort Collins 2 hours south to Denver with no driver. We're building Amazon stores that have no cashiers. The world is changing faster than ever. We as teachers need to research, like, what are those future careers? What are the skills that students need to crush it in that career? And then how can we assess those skills using our content?
That's good. That's good. I went with Jason Trumbull, at Prof Trumbull. Check him out. That's probably short for professor, don't you think? I think so. He looks like a professor.
It could be.
He said,
or professional.
He's a professional Trumbull. That's awesome. Congratulations. He's also a doctor, like my brother. Just kidding. He's my brother. My brother's not a doctor.
No, he's not.
No, definitely. Teachers consider both soft and hard skills and incorporate them into the expectations we teach and assess. I love that. I love that he's talking about different levels of skills. Jason and I, we're cut from the same cloth. Look at this. We had pretty much the same answer, both correct. The right answer. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
So good. So good. Okay, I'll hit you with the next question. You ready? Question 6.
I am.
Coming to you, Ben, says, what artifacts, data, or tools do you use from authentic assessments to drive learning in your schools?
Do you say data or data?
I say data. I say data when I want to be pretentious. Is this the situation where I should be pretentious?
Yeah, I think so.
Excuse me, Ben, what artifacts and data or tools do you use?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we can collect from this is kind of using authentic assessments as formative assessments for changing up our instruction. I think a lot of times with the multiple choice test, you didn't always understand why a student got a certain answer wrong. You just understood that, like, hey, the answer was B and they should have said C. So I think, like, in a video, when a student makes it, or a podcast, you really actually understand their thinking at a much deeper level, and you can actually use that formatively to be like, oh, my kid kind of understood this thing but didn't 100% understand that thing. So that's the data that I always took from it, was like, how deeply did my student really get a concept? How about you, Tyler?
That's excellent. So what I started doing was, and I'm going to try to stay in the realm of what I was talking about, where the students are creating it and putting it out on social media.
Yeah.
What they would do is we look at the analytics of the videos they're making. So when they put it out there, after a day or so, you can see how long they're engaging people in their video, and then also the communication that happens underneath it. And so we'll look at data tools based on, like, what's retaining visitors to your video? Is it the length of the video? Is it the style? Is it how you started? And helping them not only to learn to make video and to learn the content, but also to keep the attention of the people in their video. Like, hopefully we've kept the people that are still watching this, which I'm assuming we did, or else they literally can't hear us talking. So what question did you, or what person did you choose as?
Yeah, I went with Miss Megan Randolph on this one. She talked about how important it is to carry forward that feedback with authentic assessment. So just the feedback that this gives teachers, kind of along the lines of what I was saying, just like that. You can use it as formative assessment. Everything is feedback, and feedback is not a bad thing.
No, feedback, the more you communication in any role is always good. The more communication, the better. It's excellent. That's excellent. Okay, I went with Lori Wetzel. She said, my students are currently working on the Sphero Lift Challenge. Promoting, refinement, and video to support both have been fantastic. Of course it has, because you're a great teacher and you do great things in your classroom. That's right, Lori.
That's a super
Shout
cool
out,
idea.
Lori.
She links to that on her website as well. Really cool. I'm more of an Uber guy, but what a cool authentic assessment to have kids program a Sphero as if it was a Lyft car. We know that actually Lyft and Uber are both trying to go driverless, and so that actually is something that probably will happen sooner than we think. Tyler, can I give one more shout out before we wrap this thing up?
Yes, only if I can do the same.
No,
only
you
if I
can't.
can shout out Mia after you get done. Go ahead.
All right, you can. So there is a person that everyone should go follow on Twitter right now, at Miss Peak Teaches, Caroline Peak. And this is so cool because I just did like a little Twitter like clicking and clicking. She is actually pre-service teacher, so she's not even yet a teacher. She dove in and learned with us all, and this is her line. She said, we want our students to go from learning to living. And I can't really think of a clearer way to sum up this whole topic of authentic assessments than that. We want our kids to go from learning in our class to living successful lives. Authentic assessments and using Apple tools are an incredible, incredible way to do that.
That's awesome. Wow, touche to her.
Yeah.
I don't think I was ever like
No.
on it like that. That's incredible. She's not even in the classroom yet. She's killing the game.
I know,
That's
it's
incredible.
crushing it.
I'd also like to give a shout out to Mia Morrison. Mia is out there handling business with the Apple EDU chats, and I just think she deserves a follow. You probably follow her already, but if you don't, please check her out. She's doing a great job, and she tweeted about what we're going to do next week on Recap the Chat, starring Ben and Tyler. She said we're talking about responding to the resistant learner. So if you could stay with us, mark whatever you need to mark. Check us out on Twitter. Ben, give me your Twitter handle.
Yes, at Mr. Kolb.
Show us on your screen. Show me your Twitter on your iPad. Can you do that?
I mean, that's all the way back on slide 1, but yeah, I got you, fam.
It's fine. Can you go to Twitter? Does your iPad go to Twitter?
Hey Siri, of course my iPad goes to Twitter, man. Of course it goes to Twitter. Hey, thank you so much. If you think we should keep doing this, let us know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, everybody out there, thank you so much for watching this long. If you did, you're pretty much a best friend of the show. And
You are, friend of the show. We're sending you stickers.
You guys $20. I
Yep.
have stickers. I have stickers.
Cool.
Tarver Academy. Hit me up. I'll send them to you.
All right, much love. Thanks,
All right.
y'all.
Thank you, guys. Y'all be good.